Ladies and gentlemen, let's go from Terraform to OpenTofu. So first of all, what is OpenTofu? You probably know what Terraform is. OpenTofu is it's an open source version of Terraform. So it's because Terraform they chose to change their license model to something called BSL instead, and that means that it's not open source any longer. So yeah, it allows free use for it, as it says right here, but we do not know what the future brings. So so if you're afraid of vendor locking into HashiCorp, then you should use OpenTofu instead. And the cool thing about this is actually that the OpenTofu is actually, you can directly use it alongside with Terraform right now. Of course, if you use some of the built-in OpenTofu features like the encryption part, then you cannot do that. But it's actually the same state file. Everything is the same. It's the same providers that are being used. It is just the execution, the program that executes, the providers. That is different. And this is the OpenTofu's webpage. It's to opentofu.org. It's quite easy to install. If you are on Windows, then you just go to Scoop, you search for OpenTofu, and then you run Scoop install, and it's actually in the main package, so you don't have to install any new bucket like extras or something like that. It is in the main bucket. You just say Scoop install main OpenTofu, and then you have an OpenTofu client in your shells, and you just write tofu instead of Terraform. And all of the files they're named exactly the same, so you just have to postfix them with .tf, just like with Terraform. So tofu and Terraform, it's the endings are, the files are it's exactly the same, and you can actually use them. You can use both of them side by side, and I'll just show you how I've actually done that. So I want to show that. I just want to show some features down here. If I scroll down on the webpage right here, then it says features unique to OpenTofu, and if you start using these unique features, not the some of them, if you use these extra features, then you at some point then you'll not be able to use Terraform again, because then the state files will be changed. For instance, if you use the state encryption down here, then you would that would be one problem. Then it's not compliant with Terraform again. But if you don't use those special features, then you're good to go. Then you can actually you can jump back and forward as you feel like it. OpenTofu will place some extra metadata in your state file, just so you know. Those will just be ignored by Terraform. And if you go look at Tofu's registry, they have a registry, then you will see that it's exactly the same providers that you can look up in the Tofu registry. Then if you go to the Terraform registry, it's exactly the same. This is for Asia, HashiCorp Asia, and you also see HashiCorp Asia right here. So I think for some time at least, they will be compliant with each other almost. But yeah, in the future, they might move away from each other. There must be some reason for HashiCorp to actually change the license to something that they can actually exploit a bit more for their business. There must be some reason for that. So at some point, they might want to move away from each other. Let's just look at some code, because it's just more fun. This is a project that I have right here, and I have created a Tofu folder. Of course, usually you would have a Terraform folder, because Terraform is older than Tofu. So you would have some Terraform code, or some infrastructure as code. And here the organization is the same as where you would usually. You want to create an environment folder. You want to create a folder per environment, like I do right here. And then you want to have your module in a module folder where you have where you then have another directory per module. Like here I have a data factory module, and in my data factory module, then I have a required providers file. It is always best practice to mention your required providers also in the sub module, not just in the root module, but also in the sub module, just as we do right here, because your root module might use the required providers for for something, and then you have your sub module that might use them for something else. So, but it's good practice to actually have it in both in your root module and also in your sub module if you have to use them both places. Then I have my vars file right here, my vars.tf. Those are my variables right here. And then I have my data factory that I'm creating in Asia. So I have my Mike's data factory right here. And it's the rest of it is just rubbish right now. It's something that I'm playing with and fiddling with right now. I'm fiddling with Parquet and some linked services to my data factory. Then I have in my root folder right here, which is I have an environment for development, which is dev right here. So then here is my main. This is called a root module. It's just the first module that you actually call that is your root module. And inside my root module, then I define a new, or I give it an alias, data factory and stuff, and then I point to my submodules. My submodule, which is right here, and of course I can have many of these, as many as I want to. Then I define some variables that I have right here. And if you're dealing with Asia, then you have to, it doesn't matter which cloud you're dealing with, but you have to set your credentials. And best practice is to use cloud environment variables, and then you would like to set a service principal or a service account or something like that. You do not want to use your own credentials, and that's because then you could run exactly as you would actually on a CI server. So that is just best practice to set those environment variables and run them like that. Of course, you can if you really want to. Then you can also run them with your own credentials. Then you just if you're using Asia, then you just have to use Asia read auth to true right here, and if you set that, then you're also good to go. But it's also easier for your team than everybody in your team. It's not good. It's not good practice that everybody in your team they have to have almost at least what you call it, contributor role, the contributor role or the administrative role, because you are creating a lot of resources in the cloud, and you want to limit that role to as few as people and service accounts as possible. And if everybody in your team has to run these scripts, of course you could argue that in the lower environments like dev and integration and stuff like that, then or in dev test and maybe even all the way up to before pre-prod, then that would be okay. But it's just then you have to maintain that. It's a bit easier just to have one service principal, and then you set that as your environment variables. And of course, you don't have access to those variables for pre-production and also production. Those that should be that should be separated, so only the people deploying it actually has that access, or maybe not even those people have that access. You can also connect it to a vault, but that's a whole other story. That's not what we want to go into right here. I just want to show you that I have my Terraform. Set up right here, environment folder, modules folder, and then I have a package.json folder right here. And here in my package.json folder right here, I have a tofu dev right here, which goes to my environment dev folder, and then it runs initialize, and then it says apply and auto approve. So let us just run that to see that one works. And then when we're done with that, then we will try with the Terraform. So then we run Terraform init. Then we run Terraform apply, auto approve. Usually, I think that you would be happier if you go to OpenTofu. Then I don't think that you would like to go back and actually use both, at least not in the same project, because at some point then someone in your team might might start using the built-in encryption features, for instance, and then you cannot go back anyway. So I think you should choose also. Usually you have some up and running documentation and a way to work inside your teams. You don't want to support two different tools. You should choose one of them. At least that's what I would recommend you to do. Okay, right here, there are no changes. Everything's fine. And it was initialized. Yes. Let us go, and now we use Terraform, and then we'll try the exact same thing, just with Terraform. And again, there should be no changes because the data factory already exists. So, and then it is done. Yes. No, it's not done yet. It's running. No changes. Your infrastructure is fine. Okay. So thank you very much for that. Everything's fine. And reload from disk. Let's just see if something happened right here. Not much happened. The state file right now is actually stored in a something called a blob container or storage container. It's the same as a bucket. If you're used to the GCP, then in Asia it's just a container, storage container, and then you have the blob itself. That is the file. So that means that there's a file named dev terraform.tf states up on my Asia account right now. Yeah. So that's actually, so do not be afraid of OpenTofu. If anyone asks you, have you ever tried OpenTofu? Are you good at that? If you have tried Terraform, then the answer is yes. The client command is just tf instead of Terraform. Or not exactly. Let me just check right here. It is tofu, and a lot of times. Sometimes you could actually create an alias that mentions TF, and then it would point to tofu if you prefer tofu, or it would point to Terraform if you prefer Terraform. It's actually not unusual to have a TF alias that points to either tofu or Terraform. Yes. Thank you so much for all of your comments. They always make me happy. So thank you very much for your engagement, and thank you very much for watching. But most important of all, thank you for being who you are. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.